Good morning and welcome to our Sunday worship service. I am Olivia. I have been attending this church for about a year and a half, although I do spend most of my time up in the balcony, so it's nice to finally see this half of y'all's heads.
Hi, you probably know me. I'm Ash. I've been up here a few times. I've been here for longer than you, by a bit. And I am a mental health counselor here in the Pullman-Moscow area and down in the LC Valley.
And we will be co-celebrating today. So I would like to extend a special welcome to all of those who are joining us for the first time. We are very glad you are here. If you've come in person, we hope you have received a welcome packet and an information card in it. If you don't have one yet, please ask following the service. I can read, I promise. Fill it out and put it in the offering basket or drop it off at the office. If you're joining us online, there's a link on our website to an electronic version of that same card. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can answer any questions or point you toward additional information. Whether you are new or not, please consider staying for coffee and conversation after the service, either downstairs in our fellowship hall or in our Zoom room. Now, let's say our words of welcome together. Whether this is your first or your 1000th Sunday with us, and whether you strolled, rolled, Zoomed, ran, or danced in, we are glad you chose to join us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. Now, we will take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you're home, please turn on your camera and wave. Now, people who are attending the service in our building, it's your turn to wave. We do have a couple of announcements. So next week, our new Reverend Shelley will be joining us in the building. So we're asking that everyone please wear your Everyone is Welcome Here shirt to help facilitate a welcoming environment for this person who will be our interim minister. And so unless there are any other announcements, here end the announcements. The land on which our church is built is part of the ancestral homeland of the Nimipu, the people, and mistakenly called the Nez Perce, or pierced noses, by French-speaking trappers and traders. We acknowledge the land is held in sacred kinship since time immemorial. The land and its people suffered immeasurable trauma brought by Euro-American society, and we are working with its resilient peoples to show respect and contribute to the healing and nurturing of these Hitwet Wetes, precious land, and all its people.
We are hoping that folks joining us via Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let's light our chalices together. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
Thank you. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Ryan. I've been coming to this church for think over a decade now. It's been about 10 years. An employee of the church and serve in various ways, but today I'm very happy to be here as your service leader. So as promised last week, today I'm going to tell you your future. So, gaze deeply into my battery-powered my crystal ball, and look into your future. And what do you see? What do you feel? Is the future hopeful? Is it frightening? Is it dark or light? Is it better than here and now? Is it going to be worse? I see, a lot of orange and a bit of yellow. Okay, maybe the future's not in my ball. But, see, I thought I had a future in prognostication after an event this last March. I was helping to lead the No Kings protest along the Moscow-Pullman highway. And the Young Democratic Socialists, well, they were having a ball in the parking lot across the way in front of the liquor store. You know, they had wild clothes, their hair was every shade of highlighter, waving their signs, dancing in the back of a pickup truck, blaring music on a Bluetooth speaker the size of a keg, just infectious enthusiasm from these young folks. And I was standing next to an older activist, and she said, "Wow, they're really having a party over there." And I replied, "Well, I wish we had a group like that on every corner." And then just sort of as an afterthought, I said, that's the future. And the future is good. And, sometimes older generations have a tendency to feel threatened by the younger. I like to make a point of trying to buck that trend and really stand up for our young folks. Now, I meant this as an offhand remark, but when I turned back and looked at my conversation partner, she had teared up. And when she spoke, it was almost a whisper, and she said, "The future is good." I can't remember the last time I felt that way. And I wondered how many other people haven't felt that way in years. How many of us see the future now as a threat instead of a promise? So that's where this service came from, was that moment. Now, obviously, there are a ton of things going on in the world, politically, economically, environmentally, that make it almost seem naive to bet on the future. The news is bad. The news is always bad. The news will always be bad. Not because the world is bad, but because that's the business model. Find the worst things happening in the world, amplify them, present them as an unstoppable trend, and then right when the audience is at their most hopeless, show them a bunch of bright, shiny distractions they can buy to feel better. The news is not reality. It's the worst sliver of reality heightened to a fever pitch. And we do well to turn our attention instead to all that is good, right, and beautiful in the world. Just look at what happened recently at the World Cup games. Now, the rest of the world is rightly frightened about what America is becoming. I think we are too. They watch the news and they think we're all corrupt and greedy and ignorant, superstitious, bigoted, and cruel. But when they got here, they got to meet real Americans in real life without media filters, and it changed everything. When they turned away from their screens and saw the reality of America, they began sharing everywhere about how good our country was, how good the people in it are. And there's no reason the rest of us living here can't do the same thing. Yes, I would agree that we are living in dark times, but in the words of Valerie Kaur, what if this darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if our America is not dead, but is a country waiting to be born? What if the story of America is one long labor? Well, I believe that it is. I believe that people are still basically good, and I believe that humanity's best days are still ahead of us. By the end of today's service, I hope you'll agree that the future is indeed good. So please join me now in singing our opening hymn, Building a New Way, number 1017 in the Teal hymnals. Please rise as you're able. Okay. Now I'd invite the young and the young at heart to join us up front for our time for all ages. And our book is going to be read today by Ollie. Okay, let's sing our children off to their classes with the Reed benediction.
Now, let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity together. For those of you able to make a financial contribution, the logistics are on the screen. Somewhere. We typically give away all the cash from our Sunday offering to local charities whose missions align with our values, a program called the Month of Sundays. This month, the recipient is the UUCP Little Free Pantry, which we have some food donations brought by our very generous kids. It's out by the lower south entrance if you haven't seen it. And the mission of this Little Free Pantry is to help those having a hard time dealing with the high costs of groceries and other necessities. Your financial gifts fund the restocking of this pantry. You can also contribute extra produce from your garden, either on the shelves of the pantry or in a bag underneath. To donate, please indicate Month of Sundays on your check or from the online drop-down menu. Oh, there it is. In the spirit of love and for the continuing work of this church, we will now take some time to practice generosity together. Today's first reading is from Hopefulness in Bad Times by Howard Zinn. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something, and there are so many where people have behaved magnificently. This gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending the spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory.
Our second reading is The Hope of Seven Generations by Susan Warner. There is a hope that's been expressed in you, the hope of 7 generations, maybe more, and this is the faith that they invest in you. It's that you'll do one better than was done before you. Inside you know, inside you understand, inside you know what's yours to finally set right.
Today's final reading is from Our Children Will Rise With Us by Cheryl Strayed. When it comes to our children, we do not have the luxury of despair. If we rise, they will rise with us every time, no matter how many times we've fallen before. I hope you will remember that the next time you fail. I hope I will too. Remembering that is the most important work as parents we can possibly do. We'll now enjoy our gift of music, Canon in D, performed by the Blood and Brown Cello Gang. I've taken to calling them. Thank you so much. That was lovely. So this, if you can see, this is my actual crystal ball. And this one actually does foretell the future. You probably can't see it, but it says etched here across the front, "The best is yet to be." And it's light glass and has a blue feather inside of it. It's a Hallmark ornament. And my wife and I did not buy this ornament in some fit of holiday optimism. In fact, we bought it during the height of our struggles with infertility, when it was unclear whether or not we would ever have another child of our own. Depression was creeping up on us like floodwaters lapping at the doorstep, and the best is yet to be. That became our battle cry. That became our mantra. It was our declaration that we would push on no matter what obstacles fate put in our way. It was an irrational defiance that would hold us above those floodwaters. And while such hope is potent, the thin glass and the delicate feather were a reminder that hope is also fragile and precious, and something we must hold with attention and care. But this was never meant to be a prediction about the future. We knew we were dealing with forces very much beyond our control, and our outcome was never certain. Failure, always a possibility. And the idea that the best is yet to be was not a bet on the benevolence of the universe. It was a declaration of how we wanted to live our lives. So when I say the future is good, I don't mean my future. I don't mean yours either, sorry. Nor our country, nor humanity, nor the planet. I'm not a prophet, and the future is always a mystery. Also, the universe moves through cycles, birth and death, gain and loss, creation and destruction. The future will also contain great suffering because it always does. So the future is good is not a prediction, it's a commitment. It's a decision to embrace hope, possibility, and courage regardless of circumstances. Because honestly, such an attitude is the only way we ever overcome the troubles that face us. I'm not optimistic because I believe things are just going to get better. Rather, choosing to be optimistic here and now, that's what makes a better future possible. Our ability to imagine a world that doesn't yet exist and then put in the effort and make it real, that's what makes our species unique. It's truly that creativity is at the core of our humanity. We are the hands of creation. I used to work out at Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories, and we'd get these Friday lunch talks from the founder, Ed Schweitzer. And he was very fond of saying that the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And I think he was onto something there. The future is not something out there that just sort of happens to us. It's something we create, and it's a product of our minds. What we are thinking, we are becoming. What we dream, we start to make real. Every human accomplishment through all of history began in somebody's imagination, and every atrocity as well. The point is, we don't just exist in the world, we define it, and the future is just as good or just as bad as we're willing to dream it. The danger is this: whatever we imagine, we start to manifest whether we intend it or not. In some sense, every prophecy is self-fulfilling. If we believe in a dark and dismal future, we'll start to unconsciously act in ways to bring it about. We'll build walls. We'll adopt an attitude of scarcity, hunker down, isolate, turn away from the world with all its scary threats and shadowy enemies, and little by little create that very future we feared. But so too if we believe in a better future. We'll start to act in ways that bring that about by connecting with neighbors, building community, investing in long-term solutions, and living with an attitude of abundance and personality, a possibility that will ultimately bring about that future we dream of. So by choosing hope, we move towards outcomes that actually justify having been hopeful in the first place. As I wrote in one of my previous sermons on this topic, hope isn't waiting for a better future, it's the first step in creating one. But I want to clarify that I'm not really talking about progress either. which tends to put our joy and our wholeness and our success off into some indeterminate someday. The future is good because the present is good. Believing that the future is good makes the here and now a place of hope and possibility. The dream of a garden transforms barren dirt into a thing full of potential. Dreams of prosperity can bring meaning to the drudgery of work. The dream of a place where everyone can feel welcome, well, that brought us this church. Dreams of a better future ennoble the present and give even the mundane deeper meaning. So our attitude about the future, it determines the kind of future that we're going to get, but it also defines our experience of the present. After all that dread we feel when we read the news, it's not usually about something bad actually happening to us right now. It's fears about what might happen in the future. But if we can keep faith in a world defined by compassion and justice, by truth and beauty, we can experience today's scandals and atrocities not as harbingers of all the bad things to come, but just aberrations from the better world that is coming and that is inevitable because we refuse to give up on it. So how many of you know the parable of the waves? I know this is not the first sermon I've used it in, so you might have heard this one before, but it's an old Buddhist tale about the nature of death and goes kind of like this. One day, a wave was moving happily across the face of the ocean, dancing, glittering in the sun, not a care in the world. Everything was good. But then she looked ahead to the future and saw something so dreadful. Off in the distance, the other waves, just like her, well, they were slamming into the coastline. They were shattering, and they were dissolving into nothingness. Well, she panicked, obviously. She shouted to her neighbors, "Stop, we have to go back. We're all going to die." But the wave next to her smiled calmly and said, "Just relax. You can't die. You're not really a wave. You are part of the ocean." Now, I tell this story today because the future always looks frightening if you feel isolated and if you think you're an individual. Fortunately, you're not. You never were. You're part of a community. You're part of a human family. You're part of the web of life. Each of us is but the shape that the immortal universe has taken in this particular time and place, and eventually will return to take new shapes. Just like the cells of our bodies live, grow, and die forever oblivious to the higher reality they make possible. So even when our personal futures seem bleak, we remain part of something greater that will grow and thrive and persist long beyond our very brief lives. So if all of this sounds kind of flowery and naive, if you're still doubtful about the goodness of the future, I'd invite you to spend some time with it. Now, I frequently volunteer for the RE programs here at the church. I teach our OWL sexuality courses to teenagers. Recently, I was a chaperone to a group of 150 eighth graders at Silverwood Theme Park. I'll admit that one was a little scary. Just last night, we had a slumber party at our house with 6 or 7 of my daughter's friends. And later this summer, I'm volunteering as a counselor at a UU summer camp. And I do these things not just to be a good dad, but because nothing makes me more hopeful about the future than spending time with today's young people. Just as an example, this slumber party that happened at my home last night, one of my daughter's friends, her home recently burned down. And as soon as that happened, Alora and all her friends, they've met up online, they just leaped into action. They planned this whole party to help their friend feel better. They got presents, they figured out snacks and activities, and just did everything they could to wrap around their hurting friend and let her know she was loved. And that just, it's not an aberration. Like, this generation is just like that. And it just warms my heart so much to see it. In fact, just to put the icing on the cake, they not only came to our house and camped out, but one of them brought all the makings for dinner and made tacos for all of us. A different one made us pancakes this morning for breakfast. These are such good kids, and these are 13-year-olds. I can't say enough good things about this generation. They're creative, they're compassionate, they're funny, and they're intelligent. They're kind, and they care so deeply. And they're full of dreams for a more just and beautiful world, and they are willing to do the work to make it happen. And if the news tells you otherwise, that's just BS. The way everything in the news is BS. The kids are all right, but they do need our support just as much as we need their energy, their enthusiasm, their creativity, and their color. So the next time the future feels ominous to you, I'd really invite you to find a way to show up for our youth, not just for their sake, but for yours as well. Now, here at the UUCP, we frequently like to say that love is at the center. Well, what is love but a deep commitment to the future? When we love our children or our spouses or our friends, isn't that just a commitment to their future well-being? When we love our homes or our country, our favorite team or a natural landscape, love means giving our time and our energy and our very lives to ensure that the things we love persist and thrive. So let us love this broken world. We don't need to fix it. We just need to love it the way it is. Over time, everything that's shattered and painful will become beloved, a part of our shared wholeness, the flaws that are at the heart of all that's beautiful. Sometimes alchemy doesn't mean turning lead into gold. Sometimes alchemy means learning to appreciate the beauty and the possibilities of lead. We already have everything we need. If we but love and nurture what is, it will in time become the better future we need. The future is good because life is good, because people are good, because existence is good, because every atom and every wave of all of creation is sacred and complete. To believe that the future is good is how we let love be our guide. And so on that note, please join me in singing our closing hymn, Love Will Guide Us, number 131. We just need 2 sounds. Thank you. You can be seated. Glad we know that song pretty well. I think we were missing a couple words there, but we made it work. For today's closing reading, I'd like to share a poem titled Hope. When the world screams salty, spray stabbing, and the air we gasp is rife with leaves, sticks, and sorrows slapping, the timbers creaking, the roar inside rising, when all eyes quaver and everyone says that everyone says all is lost, does not hope feel out of place, an embarrassing thing? Yet only such gravity can keep us from dissembling to soil, water, winds, and fire. Hope is a black hole, invisibly shaping a galaxy like the hands of a potter until it shines across eternity. Clear-eyed cynic, right about everything, will you throw this paper flower to the gutter, watch it wick up the warm brown ooze, and sink with a bubbling told you so? Or might you shelter it in your palm like a child with a beautiful insect, knowing that whatever we choose not to kill becomes a miracle, and there is music in passing storms if we listen. If we listen. Please join me in the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this chalice gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. Our children's book today told us that only those who dream learn to fly. But dreams are not meant to be pursued, constructed, achieved, attained, nurtured, incarnated. They're not ours to own, control, and shape to our vanity. They are forces of nature, as real as the wind ripping apart the trees. Ours is only to surrender, to leap and grow wings, to sweetly, sweetly surrender and leap. The vast blue sky is waiting. Thank you for being here today as we get ready to begin the next chapter of our church's story. Whatever the future brings to this church, I know that it will be good because we'll be there together. Thank you.